Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is the Bodega Cat Book Club Spiritual Edition. And today we're continuing our reading of the title. I will not say out loud on YouTube because I might get into trouble. However, I will say this, the title of the book corresponds to a specific letter of the alphabet. And if you take gematria, which is simple numerology, where A equals 1 and B equals 2 and C equals 3, so on and so forth until Z or Z equals 26, the title of the book corresponds to the 17th letter of the alphabet. So you guys are super smart, and I'll let you figure it out. However, I will say, I will read the rest of the book title, however, just so you guys know what's going on here. The rest of the title of the book is The Earliest Gospel, an introduction to the original stories and sayings of Jesus. And this is by John S. Kloppenborg. Now, this particular book was inspired by spirit, if you will. I was asking for some guidance in terms of uh, what I should read for the spiritual book club, and I asked for a sign, and spirit gave me a sign. So this is how this particular book came about. I won't get into the story here. It's a very interesting little story, backstory. I did go into detail a little bit in my introductory video introducing this book. So I will leave a link in the description box below. You guys can listen to it or watch it if you guys wish. Um, what else did I want to say? Mm, okay, I think I want to say enough about that. All right, before we begin, I want to welcome everybody here. If you like these book clubs, please do consider checking out our other book clubs. We have our health book clubs on Wednesdays and financial book clubs on Thursdays. And we put all the books that we read or the current episodes as well as past episodes on YouTube in a playlist. So you guys can just hit play or download and hit play when you guys are stuck in traffic, going to work, walking your dog, whatever it is that you guys are doing. Um, and so please do check out our YouTube channel, like and subscribe and comment and all that good stuff. We have other contents on there as well, not just the book club. So please do check it out. We have a monthly newsletter that we put out for free. Please do consider subscribing to that as well. And if you want to support us further, you can buy me a coffee, leave a donation. Check out our merch. We have many different merchandises for your fur babies, for your kitties and doggies, as well as for you, the human. We're always updating our current designs as well as putting out new designs every month. So come back often, check it out, support us that way. And lastly, if you are in the Los Angeles area or in LA, visiting LA, come visit us in our healing center. We have a healing center that we use technologies based on Nikola Tesla's scalar wave research for holistic healing for both domestic cats and dogs and humans. So you can read all about that as how the technology works and how it benefits you health-wise and your fur babies as well. You could read all about that on our website as well as the other services that we provide as well. So whatever way, shape, or form that you guys support us, we appreciate it very much. But most importantly, thank you for being here and for sharing this journey with us in our book club. I think books reading is a lost art, in my opinion, and I'd like to contribute to my love of books with the audience in my little neck of the wood as much as I can. And I thank you for being here and sharing this time with us. So this is technically we're done with the book, the main chapters. So the next couple episodes will be reading the appendix. I thought it was kind of interesting when I was skimming through the book to include that in our reading, in our episodes. So one thing I want to say before we begin is that I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm not a theologian or any of that sort. However, I do think, and this is my opinion, that God is meant to be experienced. It's meant to be transformative. It's meant to be life-changing. He's not meant to be put in a little box where our little brains cannot fathom. He's not meant to be analyzed, philosophized, what else is there? Categorized, things of that nature. So, having said that, I do think that the categorizing and the philosophizing and the theologizing, all that has its place. It's not a big place, it's a small place. It does help us try to understand the vastness of God, also known as infinite intelligence. But I don't think God is meant for us to do that. I think God is meant for us to experience him or her or it or whatever you want to call it. Technically, it's an it because it's non-gender. I mean, if you want to think about it. God is energy, God is light. Light doesn't have a gender. Energy doesn't have a gender. But we do live in duality world. So we do have to balance the feminine and the masculine. And that's where the gender stuff comes in. But anyways, I digress. Okay. I think I want to say enough about that. All right. So this is appendix, and this will be part 1, sorry. Now, okay. I'm gonna try my best to read it because I think it gets a little technical in my opinion. The author gets a little technical about it, but I will do my best to read it for those who are just listening. But you can always get the book, and I will leave a link in the description box below. And you guys can do a deeper dive if you guys wish to do that and do study the book that way if you want. Okay, so here we go. Appendix, the sayings, Gospel 17 in English. Okay, so whenever the title comes up, I will use the numerical version, just so you guys know. Okay? All right, let's see here. I'm going to move the camera in a little bit. You guys can follow with us there. If you have a book, you can follow with us with the book. If not, you can follow with us here. Or you guys can just listen. And like I said, I'll do my best to describe it, whatever it is that author's trying to do. Okay. All right, here we go. SIGLA. The International 17 Project, IQP, employed a system for grading its decisions borrowed from the United Bible Society's Greek New Testament. Each decision regarding the wording or the sequence of a 17 text is graded bracket A to bracket D, with bracket A and bracket B representing a relatively high degree of confidence in reconstructing 17, and bracket C and bracket D much lower degrees of confidence. Bracket C reconstructions are signaled by the presence of double square brackets. Bracket D texts are signaled by the presence of question marks enclosing the verse number. The English text is enclosed in, I guess that's called a double quotation. I don't know what this is called. But anyways, to provide a general sense of what may have been in 17. Okay, so I think these brackets are going to be a little confusing. So if you guys are interested, it's probably best if you have a book and just study it that way. Anyways. All right, let's continue. Double square brackets are used to indicate a bracket C degree of uncertainty in the wording of 17, or if the square brackets are placed around the pericope title, whether the pericope can be assigned to 17 in the first place. 3 dots indicate that there must have been some text in 17, but it cannot be reconstructed at all. 2 dots indicate that there may be something here in 17, but nothing can be reconstituted. Okay, the question marks. So here there's an example, 7 question mark, 10 question mark. The question marks signal texts where there is a bracket D, very low degree of certainty, concerning whether the text belongs to 17 or not. While the critical edition does not venture a reconstruction of the text at all, in this translation I have given a general sense of the wording, always enclosed in double brackets, I guess, to indicate that the wording is quite conjectural. So that double bracket, I don't know what to call it except or double quotation. I don't know what that is. But anyways, this siglum is used when the 17 text cannot be reconstructed, either because the text exists in only Matthew or Luke, or because Matthew and Luke disagree completely in wording but agree in sense. See, e.g. 17, oh, sorry about that. I'm gonna move it up in the camera. E.g. 17, chapter 4, verse 2. Now, ankle brackets are used to signal an emendation in the text. So I guess there's a double bracket and then an ankle bracket, ankle brackets, and double ankle brackets. I guess you can call it that. All right. All right, 17.3.3.0, insipid. So there's double bracket, Jesus, double bracket. And then there's 17, chapter 3, verse 2b. 3, the introduction of John. So 2b says John, and then verse 3, all the region of the Jordan, Okay, now 17, chapter 3, verse 7 to 9, John's announcement of judgment. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll just read the words. So I'm gonna forego all the double brackets and all that stuff. I think it's gonna irritate the heck out of you guys listening to me say that. If you guys are interested, like I said, get the book and do your own study. Okay, so in this paragraph, he said to the crowds coming to be baptized, snakes litter. Who warned you to run from the impending rage? So bear fruit worthy of repentance, and do not presume to tell yourselves, we have Abraham as forefather. For I tell you, God can produce children for Abraham right out of these rocks, and the axe already lies at the root of the trees. So every tree not bearing healthy fruit is to be chopped down and thrown on the fire. Chapter 17, chapter 3, verse 16b and verse 17. John and the one to come. I baptize you in water, but the one to come after me is more powerful than I, whose sandals I am not fit to take off. He will baptize you in Holy Spirit and fire. His pitchfork is in his hand, and he will clear his threshing floor and gather the wheat into his granary. But the chaff he will burn on a fire that can never be put out. Interesting that he used pitchfork. Can you imagine Christ in a pitchfork? Wow. What an image. Okay, let's continue. I digress. Chapter 17, 17, chapter 3, verse 21 and 22, the baptism of Jesus. Jesus baptized, heaven opened, and the Spirit upon him, Son. 17, chapter 4, verse 1 to 4, verse 9 to 12, verse 5 to 8, and chapter 13, the temptations of Jesus. And Jesus was led into the wilderness by the Spirit to be tempted by the devil. And he ate nothing for 40 days. He became hungry. And the devil told him, "If you are God's son, order that these stones become loaves." And Jesus answered him, "It is written, a person is not to live only from bread." The devil took him along to Jerusalem and put him on the tip of the temple and told him, "If you are God's son, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels about you, and on their hands they will bear you, so that you do not strike your foot against a stone." And Jesus, in reply, told him, "It is written, do not put to the test the Lord your God." And the devil took him along to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor, and told him, "All these I will give you, if you bow down before me." And in reply, Jesus told him, "It is written, bow down to the Lord your God and serve only him." And the devil left him. 17, chapter 4, verse 16, Nazara. Nazara. Okay. Nazara. All right. 17, chapter 6, verse 20 to 21, the Beatitudes for the poor, hungry, and mourning. And raising his eyes to his disciples, he said, "Blessed are you poor, for God's reign is for you. Blessed are you who hunger, for you will eat your fill. Blessed are you who mourn, for you will be consoled." 17, chapter 6, verse 22 to 23, the Beatitude for the persecuted. Blessed are you when they insult and persecute you, and say every kind of evil against you because of the Son of Man. Be glad and exult, for vast is your recompense in heaven. For this is how they persecuted the prophets who were before you. 17, chapter 6, question mark, verse 24 to 26, question mark, the woes. But woe to you that are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe to you that are full now, for you shall hunger. Woe to you that laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. Woe to you when all men speak well of you, or so their fathers did to the false prophets. 17, chapter 6, verse 27 to 28, 35c to d, love your enemies. Love your enemies and pray for those persecuting you, so that you may become sons of your Father. For he raises his sun on bad and good and rains on the just and unjust. 17, chapter 6, verse 29 to 30. Renouncing one's own rights. The one who slaps you on the cheek, offer him the other as well. And to the person wanting to take you to court and get your shirt, turn over to him the coat as well. And the one who conscripts you for 1 mile, go with him a second. To the one who asks of you, give. And from the one who borrows, do not ask back what is yours. 17, chapter 6, verse 31, the golden rule. And the way you want people to treat you, that is how you treat them. 17, chapter 6, verse 32 and 34, impartial love. If you love those loving you, what reward do you have? Do not even tax collectors do the same? And if you lend to those from whom you hope to receive, what reward do you have? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? 17, chapter 6, verse 36, being full of pity like your Father. Be merciful just as your Father is merciful. Chapter 17, chapter 6, verse 37 to 38, not judging. Do not pass judgment, so you are not judged. For with what judgment you pass judgment, you will be judged. And with the measure you use to measure out, it will be measured back to you. 17, chapter 6, verse 39, the blind leading the blind. Can a blind person show the way to a blind person? Will not both fall into a pit? 17, chapter 6, verse 40, the disciple and the teacher. A disciple is not superior to one's teacher. It is enough for the disciple that he become like his teacher. 17, chapter 6, verse 41 to 42. The speck and the beam. And why do you see the speck in your brother's eye, but the beam in your own eye you overlook? How can you say to your brother, let me throw out the speck from your eye, and just look at the beam in your own eye? Hypocrite, first throw out from your own eye the beam, and then you will see clearly to throw out the speck in your brother's eye. 17, chapter 6, verse 43 to 45. The tree is known by its fruit. No healthy tree bears rotten fruit, nor, on the other hand, does a decayed tree bear healthy fruit. For from the fruit the tree is known. Are figs picked from thorns, or grapes from thistles? The good person from one's good treasure casts up good things, and the evil person from the evil treasure casts up evil things. For from exuberance of heart one's mouth speaks. 17, chapter 6, verse 46. Not just saying, Master, Master. Why do you call me Master, Master, and do not do what I say? 17, chapter 6, verse 47 to 49. Houses built on rock or sand. Everyone hearing my words and acting on them is like a person who built one's house on bedrock. And the rain poured down, and the flash floods came, and the winds blew and pounded that house, and it did not collapse, for it was founded on bedrock. And everyone who hears my words and does not act on them is like a person who built one's house on the sand. And the rain poured down, and the flash floods came, and the winds blew and battered that house, and promptly it collapsed, and its fall was devastating. 17, chapter 7, verse 1, 3, 6b to 9, and verse 10. The centurion's faith in Jesus' word. And it came to pass, when he ended these sayings, he entered Capernaum. There came to him a centurion, exhorting him, and saying, My boy is doing badly. And he said to him, Am I by coming to heal him? And in reply the centurion said, Master, excuse me. I'm going to take a sip of my tea here for a minute. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right, Master, the centurion said, Master, I am not worthy for you to come under my roof, but say a word and let my boy be healed. For I too am a person under authority with soldiers under me. And I say to one, Go, and he goes, and to another, Come, and he comes, and to my slave, Do this, and he does it. But Jesus, on hearing, was amazed and said to those who followed, I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith. And the serving boy was healed. 17, chapter 7, verses 18 to 23, John's inquiry about the one to come. And John, on hearing about all these things, sending through his disciples, said to him, Are you the one to come, or are we to expect someone else? And in reply, he said to them, Go report to John what you hear and see. Blind regain their sight, and lame walk around. Skin diseased are cleansed, and deaf hear. Dead are raised, and the poor are given good news. And blessed is whoever is not offended by me. 17, chapter 7, verse 24 to 28. John more than a prophet. And when they had left, he began to talk to the crowds about John. What did you go out into the wilderness to look at? A reed shaken by the wind? If not, what did you go out to see? A person arrayed in finery? Look, those wearing finery are in kings' houses. And then what did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I tell you, even more than a prophet. This is the one about whom it has been written. Look, I am sending my messenger ahead of Look, I am sending my messenger ahead of you, who will prepare your path in front of you. I tell you, there has not arisen among women's offspring anyone who surpasses John. Yet the least significant in God's kingdom is more than he. 17, chapter 7, verse 29 to 30, for and against John. For John came to you, the tax collectors, and responded positively, but the religious authorities rejected him. 17, chapter 7, verse 31 to 35. This generation and the children of wisdom. To what am I to compare this generation, and what is it like? It is like children seated in the marketplace, who, addressing the others, say, we fluted for you, but you would not dance. We wailed, but you would not cry. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and you say he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and you say, look, a person who is a glutton and drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom was vindicated by her children. 17, chapter 9, verse 57 to 60. Question mark 61 to 62. Excuse me. Question mark 61 to 62. Question mark confronting potential followers. And someone said to him, I will follow you wherever you go. And Jesus said to him, foxes have holes, and birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man does not have anywhere he can lay his head. But another said to him, Master, permit me first to go and bury my father. But he said to him, follow me and leave the dead to bury their own dead. Another said, I will follow you, Lord, but let me first say farewell to those at my home. Jesus said to him, no one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. 17, chapter 10, verse 2, workers for the harvest. He said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the day laborers are few. So ask the Lord of the harvest to dispatch day laborers into his harvest. 17, chapter 10, verse 3, sheep among wolves. Be on your way. Look, I send you like sheep in the midst of wolves. 17, chapter 10, verse 4, no provisions. Carry no purse, no knapsack, nor sandals, nor stick, and greet no one on the road. All right, we'll end here for now. I hope you find that interesting. I don't know, I've never read appendixes. I rarely read, I should say, appendixes before, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. Oops, sorry about the camera. I was gonna move it out a little bit so you could see the title of the book. But anyways, let me know what you think. What do you think about the book in general? What do you think about the 17 sayings that we just read, that little section? I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts and reading your comments. And we will see you next time in our next book club. Okay, bye now.